Kevin, the seventh son, the seventh sojourn. I welcome you all tonight. There's some stuff coming up on my screen. Okay, I'm just reading some prompt up on my screen. Looks like the live feed is holding. Thank you, Instagram, for helping me do this. God is very appreciative. Trust me. This is very important to everyone. And I understand it's probably hard to grasp. And I don't really look like what you would think as being that would do this. That's a warning thing going off saying that I have been... it's about Mike and me, which is fine, but the device will go off like that and make that noise. It's not something else. It's a warning device for me. I want to start off by saying hello to Queen Ari, my friend, and I appreciate everything that you've done for me, and you helped me get through a really tough time to where I could make this happen. So you're very instrumental in this, and I am greatly appreciative. I always want to be your friend, and I would like to collaborate in some way, which has been hinted, and I've offered to do so. I'm trying to get other things going that we talked about to make some of this happen. I don't know if it's going to be a live duo or something. I'm not sure. It's very difficult to do these on the fly. I get off at 10 o'clock from my job. I have very little time to set this up and try to figure out what I want to do in the songs and what God wants me to give to everyone. Even if you don't believe this, just take the information in, because once you have the information, this will start the process of locking your spirit into a way of ascension path, because some of the information you have isn't quite correct in a way, and it's locking you out. On top of the rebellion's quarantine, once I start doing this, this is going to change all that just easily. It might be hard to accept, but it will change easily. Okay, I want to do a song for Ari, and for all the time she's helped me. Be my friend. And I appreciate Instagram for doing this. Your love for me is real. do kind of some old stuff, but when I was in a band before, this was the kind of stuff that I did. I do know newer stuff, and I can try to work some up. Because I do this on the fly, it's not rehearsed. It's very dangerous to do it this way, being on the fly, because anything can happen. Okay. But I always liked the song from that time period. I always thought it was a cool song. Once again, for Queen Ari, my friend, which I thank graciously. photogenic. Freaky, cool. This was Bad Company's other singer. And there's a song on this particular album called Holy Water. And this is it right here. Now this is not Paul Rogers. This is not Paul Rogers singing this. This is Paul others replacement. Which I'm not sure what the guy's name is. Holy Water. And I'm sorry neighbors, probably pissing me off, but I'm live on Instagram. Especially like the little clip where you have these little heart like things around your face and you're blowing a kiss out. I think that is so cool looking. Alright. Okay, enough of the fun stuff. Let's get down to the more serious stuff. I'm sorry the feet cut out. I have my phone set up to see what you're seeing. I'm not able to plug the power in, so it ran out of power. So I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to compensate. And I'm apologizing to the neighbors once again for doing this. I'm one of those ones that shine at night. Can't help it. Get off the way. 10 o'clock, folks. This is unrehearsed. I just do it on the fly. Father wants me to do it, I do it. I am a humble servant, even though I'm a son. And I gave myself up, my celestial, eternal soul. That means all my lives. There's more than one to have. I mean, many of you felt multiple lives and don't know why. It's because ascension was cut off because of the quarantine from the rebellion. Okay, I have some things set up to say. Give me a moment to get my better glasses. Doing a live thing can be a very risky thing, but I wanted to show you what I do at night. A lot of times when I'm trying to meditate or listen to what I'm being taught or play music, the outlet for stress. But I also enjoy it. Okay, we're going to go back to the Creator Sons, the Paradise Sons, and there's a part called the Magisterial Sons. Every time an original and absolute concept of being formulated by the Eternal Son unites with a new and divine ideal of loving service conceived by the infinite Spirit, a new and original Son of God, a paradise magisterial Son, I believe I'm saying that right, magisterial, is produced. These sons constitute the order of Avanals in contradistinction to the order of Michael, the Creator Sons, which is Jesus as well, the universe sovereign sons. Keep in mind we have many universes, so you have many Creator Sons for each universe. Only one universe sovereign. He's number one son. Trust me. So getting back to this, though not creators in the personal sense, talking about these other Avanals, they are closely associated with the Michaels and all their work. The Avanals are the planetary ministers and judges and magistrates of the time and space realms, of all races, to all worlds, and in all universes. Okay, Avanals are paradise sons of service and bestowal to individual planets of the local universes. As such, each Avanal son has an exclusive personality, since no two are alike. Their work is individually unique in the realms of their sojourn. When they are often incarnated in the likeness of mortal flesh,
and sometimes are born of earthly mothers on evolutionary worlds. Magisterial missions, a planet visitation of this type usually occurs prior to the arrival of a bestowal sun. On such a mission, an Avanel appears as an adult of the realm by a technique of incarnation, not involving mortal birth. Subsequent to this first and usual magistral visit, Avanels may repeatedly serve as a magistral capacity on the same planet, both before and after the appearance of the bestowal sun. On these additional magistral missions, an Avanel may or may not appear in material or visible form, but on none of them will he be born into the world as a helpless babe. Bestowal missions. The Avanel sons do all and at least once bestow themselves upon some mortal race on some evolutionary world. Judicial visits are numerous and magistral missions may be plural, but on each planet there appears but one bestowal son. Bestowal Avanels are born of woman, as Michael, Christ of our universe, was incarnated on our world. Okay, the next part. There is no limit to the number of times the Avanel sons may serve on a magistral and on bestowal missions, but usually when the experience has been 7 times traversed, like mine is right now, there is suspension in favor of those who have had less of service. The sons of multiple bestowal experience are then assigned to a high personal council of the Creator Son, which is the universe sovereign Jesus for us, otherwise known as Michael in heaven. You gotta keep in mind, when you have a title in heaven and you incarnate, you get a title in where you're incarnated too, so you have like 2 titles. I have 2 titles. So it can kind of get a little confusing on who's what and where, but that's the way it kind of works. So I wanted to clarify that. Thus become a participants in the administration of the universe affairs. And it goes into all their work for and on the habited worlds. The magistral sons are assigned by 2 orders of the local universe creatures, the Melchizedeks, which is my clan, and the archangels. While on the bestowal missions, they are also accompanied by the brilliant evening stars, likewise of the origin of the local creations. In every planetary effort, the secondary paradise sons, the Avanels, are supported by the full power and authority of the primary paradise son. The Creator Son of the local universe serves. To all intents and purposes, their work on the inhabited worlds is just as effective and acceptable as would have been the service of a Creator Son upon such worlds of mortal habitation. But keep in mind, people, I've worked a long day and it's very late, so please bear with me as I try to get through this. And okay, it's time to. All right, that's all of the stuff I'm going to give you for now, other than what I wanted to say. The live feed seems to keep holding, and I thank Instagram greatly for allowing this to happen, and the authorities to allow me to go live. I greatly appreciate it. I humbly thank everyone. I'm not here as an aggressor or someone that is going to confront something. I'm not here to do any confronting. Father tells me no confrontation or confronting whatsoever, because that is not the way of the house of God. The way the house of God works is you win the day by divine love. And that is the most powerful thing in the universe of universes. There is nothing more powerful. And he has taught me this many times. Now, I've been working for him for 2 decades now, since 2000 when he gave me the fragment, which allowed me to be directly connected to him. I've had to live in quiet for most of it. It wasn't until this summer he told me it's time to make myself known. Obviously, I'm sticking my neck way out. My personal life, I'm basically a simple person, but I gave myself up to be an instrument, and this is what he's created me into. I'm on a bestowed mission. It means that it's bestowed upon you. You accept it, go before God, he agrees to it. I've been on 7 life missions on this world. This is my 7th. My last, I was here for 100 years, but you couldn't see me materially. You know what I mean? You didn't see me in my body. I was some spirit watcher. I don't remember anything about my other lives other than what I've been very rarely told about, because it's not that important that I worry about the past. I'm to do this, what he wants me to do for now. What I'm going to do is, he says, will change the future of mortals in time and space. There will be no more rebellions where you have worlds of darkness and hell. I've never intended for that. It's the rebellion that caused that. And it also proves that the rebellion says that God gives you the will to choose, even if you're working at a level that Lucifer was. What they tell me is that Lucifer was a system solver, watching over 600 plus worlds of habitation. Just decided he didn't want to do it. There's a whole manifest of his that he complained that he thought God wasn't real. So let me tell you, if you've gotten to the level of a system solver, you know God very well. Become connected. He connects you to him if you want to work for him. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just offered myself up as an instrument, which means he can utilize me for anything he wants me to be. And I have to go along with it, folks, because it's been a magical 2 decades that I remember of this life working for him. I don't remember the other ones, though. I just have been told who I was. Supposedly I was the other Melchizedek that came long ago. I don't remember any of it. But I do know that my name in heaven, because I'm of the Melchizedek clan, I'm Makaventa Melchizedek. I've actually been in contact with the Council of Versa, which is the super universe council that oversees everything within our sector. I need a moment to take a drink of water here. It's very intense for me when he's coming through on a big way. This is not the spirit of truth, though, that's pouring out of me. His Father himself influencing me to say a lot of things. I know it seems very strange. Trust me. It seems just as strange to me because I was just doing simple tasks of helping fellow man. Which there's a record of me doing all kinds of things for people. Freely and with no wanting nothing in return, just doing it for God. I didn't know he was going to rise me up like this, but I am totally in
to what he wants to do because I knew something big was coming. I could feel it. Everybody can feel it. If you have any feelings at all, you would be able to feel it. So I offered myself. I got in a field, in a cow pasture. I got on my knees in the rain and I begged to be. I said, take me. I don't know what your plan is, but make me an instrument. And he did. He put the fragment in me, and it transformed me. Changed my eye color from hazel to green. It made me a healer. I laid hands on somebody today, and I could feel the energy. I can expel demons at a touch. And I have so in Wairika when I went through California in the summer. And I wanted to give a shout out to my friend there in Wairika that I teamed up with, and we did a bunch of things to help people, and that's Martha. She's a Latino lady that lives in Wairika, and she goes to the senior center for lunch, and that's where I met her. She was broke down, her bus was overheated. I offered a ride. From there, we went off, and she can see spirits. She has astral vision. So I did 3 exorcisms on her and freed her. And she turned around and freed somebody else. And I wanted to give a great shout out to Martha. I haven't forgotten you. Not 1 minute have I forgotten. During that trip, Father had me tell people who I was. So I did. I went all the way to LA and back. And it was an amazing adventure. It wasn't totally successful because somebody stole my gas, my phone went dead. I didn't really plan very well. I just had to get away for a little while, and I figured I'd go down there. Thought I was going to have my phone on, be able to call somebody or text somebody I know, aka Marie, but my phone went out and stopped working. So I turned around, played in the sun, came back. In Wairika I stopped, and that's where these things happened. I feel for the people in that town because I know there's a lot of hardship because I've seen it. And I want to try to do something about that one day, get back there. But I just wanted to say that I'm a gentle soul, but I am a strong warrior for God, without a doubt. And my resolve is absolute, because when I get this done, and I give you all the information, your ascension will start happening. You'll start waking up. It'll start triggering things in your spirit that you will rise up higher in conscious and start understanding a lot more. Even if you don't believe it, just listen to it so that it's imprinted with you. And I am merely an instrument, but I am a son of God, the 7th son. Think of me as Jesus' little brother or cousin. And I offered myself as an emergency son because this world is in spiritual default because of some of the information not being enough in your systems to trigger things in the quarantine. Once I give the information, it should trigger everything to break the quarantine. The rebellion will be over. Then God is going to make this place universe headquarters. It's been universe headquarters all along, but it just hasn't been developed. It should have been developed back when Christ came, but his mission got interrupted. So I offered myself to step in as an emergency son, which the Melchizedeks are designed for, and I'm here to remedy what was wrong. God does not put people in worlds of rebellion like this where there's just crazy out of control stuff. I mean, basically they look at it as like, well, I had to sit there and look with Father down at this world, and he goes, well, you want to go down that hell and fix it?
And me being a absolutely, totally gutsy, celestial son, I said, please let me go, because it's not going to be good. You're going to have a really rough life. So that's alright. Even if my body does get shed, I'll keep being alive, without a doubt. No matter what you do to me, I'll still achieve this. It's for the best of all, trust me. You need the spiritual truth. You are so far behind from being in your age of light and life, which is the age of enlightenment. Every world has. A universe will go through a stage of waves of enlightenment where systems get it and their ascension happens. And they start becoming higher consciousness and become connected to God. You don't have to do this. You don't have to choose this. But there's something about this world. He tells me that you all are very special because of this change in how heaven's going to work. And you're going to have God sitting right here in a presence way that you have never seen. This is going to be God's new little home for this universe. The universe sovereign will represent a spirit of truth upon me. And universe mother spirit, Mother Mary, is bound to this world physically, even though she controls everything in the universe as far as energy circuits, birthing circuits. I mean, it goes on. She's extremely powerful. I don't know why the church ignored the fact of that, but and I'm not criticizing anyone. I swear, I'm not trying to go after anybody's anything. I'm just here to give you the info. I'm the messenger, okay? And I know that a lot of things might seem contradictory sometimes, but I, once again, say I'm the messenger. I offer myself to do this. I'm really sticking my neck out there, trust me. But I am so dedicated to what I've done after 7 lifetimes. Yeah, I'm ready for this. Now, the council tells me that I've been approved to be the planetary prince. I recently in Easter defeated the evil one that had the mantle of power, somehow it is, that God wanted back. So I had to go in a really bad kind of vibe way and get to a place where there was a lot of evil things going on, and somebody brought this thing upon me, and the fragment in me of Father decimated it. Took what mantle of power it had, which a planetary prince has, and took every bit of its knowledge of its evil, and then destroyed it. It was inside me for about 2 days. He had it locked up while he was extracting it, and then tore it apart. I was amazed because I could feel part of it being thrown out of me. I've never had a feeling of a spirit touching my body at all. And I can't see spirits, but I'm sensory connected in a way I can communicate with the angels and God. Now, this seems really weird and really strange, but I'm telling you, this is for the best of all, and it's nothing to panic about or get upset about. God doesn't want your possessions. Nobody's going to take over temporal rulers and their stuff. That's not what this is about. This is about universe spiritual organization. You're late for enlightenment, people. It's time. I offered myself to do this. I offered myself eternally. He tells me now that he's transformed me into an immortal creature, that I'm at a paradise bestowal level son, which means you can go up the ladder even if you're a Melchizedek, if you offer to be in an emergency situation. This has never been done before in heaven. A son come down as a paradise bestowal into a rebel zone that is in rebellion. So I take an enormous risk in doing this. For everyone's sake, I ask you to be calm, because God is just going to give you divine love, and you can figure out the rest, because once you get what you need from this, you guys are going to be so higher conscious that you're going to be self-governing. The problems that the humanity this world has will melt away slowly. I'm sure it's going to take a while, and there'll be lots of resistance to it, but you'll still have all your choices of whatever you want to do. Nobody's here to take anything from anyone or disrupt anybody, other than give them some information so you can get closer to God. That's what this is about. He does want to set this world up as universe headquarters, clean it up and make it a shining jewel, he tells me constantly. It'll be a shining jewel for all to see. Meaning all kinds of beings will come here from other places in the universe. There's a special gateway that's been made, and that's why you see a hole in the sun where it looks like a hole, a black area. This is not to be worried about. Stars are used as gateways. And there's a giant freakish wormhole-like thing connected to it, or attempting to be. I don't know, I haven't really gotten to that lately because I'm extremely busy with what he's trying to feed into me, and I have to work, and my house is kind of a wreck because of roommates, which I'm not complaining, but I just have a lot to do, so I want people to be patient. Each night I will try to give you more. I want everybody to remain calm. God's not here to take your stuff or push you around or tell you what to do. Once he does what I gotta do with you, you'll have the information. It'll make your body and spirit start to feel like you're getting closer to God. Trust me, when I did mine, you have no idea what it's like to be taken spiritually out of your body by the Holy Spirit, which is the Holy Mother Spirit. Yeah, I'm talking God, the Holy Mother Spirit. And that's Mother Mary. And I would appreciate it if people would try to say that and give her respect, because she is the Holy Spirit. She's the one that touches you. And this is her world. This is her headquarters. What happens is when the universe sovereign comes to the headquarters world and hooks up with universe Mother Spirit, who is bound here physically, even though she controls everything in the universe of hers, they co-create within that universe. And when everything's established, then the Spirit of the Father comes upon the Son. And then you have a trinitized headquarters for a universe, which is the finality part. Let me get this right. It's part of the finality of a universe going into full enlightenment. And when that happens, the universe headquarters is established. God sets up his home, and he comes home. Each universe has a creator son and a universe mother. And when the headquarters is established, Father's presence comes upon the Son, and the trinitized setup is complete. Now, ours is complete. I completed it with the task that he had me do. I ask that you be patient in this, and I ask again for calm. It's divine love what you're going to get, and information of spirituality. I don't care about the temporal rulers and all their little problems and houses and cars. I don't have time for that. People are late for enlightenment, and I'm extremely compelled and pressured by the house of God to do this. Granted, I stick my neck out, and for a while I want to be kind of like the Masked Singer a little bit, because I need to do things in my life and around my home to get things more appropriate looking. I'm a humble servant of God, trust me. I'm not a confronter. I'm not to take anyone's stuff or tell anybody what to do. I'm just telling you what God wants you to know. You'll have to figure out what to do with it after that. But I am your planetary prince now. It's been approved. I talked to a probe sent by them to me. I'll even draw a picture of what it looked like. My camera system did not catch it. The whole thing was blinked out. I'll explain that later, how that worked, but I am approved by the Council Universal, which is our super universe council. It has 3 Ancients of Days there. These are beings that have worked for God for, I imagine, a very long time. Not all of my knowledge is totally complete, but I feel that God is always an expanding, learning situation. But what he plans is a 95% expansion. And the people from this world have a divinity potential that is extremely high. Think about it. You're the children of God. What do children do when they grow up? They be as their adults. And that means that you would be a representative of the house of God, because that's what you are. You're not little puny humans. You're like extremely divine beings. Every one of you. Not one of you is lesser in the eyes of God than another. And I am not better than any of you, and you are not better than any of me. Because he says, he looks at us all equal, no matter what you are. And no matter what you are, as long as you're dedicated to God and do anything to achieve the goals that he wants, even risking your own health and life, I would do anything for God. Anything. I would die for him 1 billion times and keep going. I gave myself eternally. He says I'll be here as your planetary prince for possibly up to 1 million years. He says most planetary princes have their reign of 300 to 500,000 years. And it's a peaceful reign. It's not tyrannical. Trust me, this is all about spiritual stuff. Once we fix the spiritual problems, all these other ones will melt away easily. I want you to please be calm and trust me. I'm not confronting anyone, and no one's taking or telling anyone what to do. You will always have a choice to say no to anything and say yes to anything you wish. Choice of will continues no matter what level you are with God, whether you're a planetary prince, system sovereign like Lucifer was, and Satan was his lieutenant. Keep in mind, they were 2 different beings. Those beings were imprisoned right now, waiting for a period when God feels he's going to do something. I don't know. That's not my gig. But any level that you're at, it proves that the rebellion, that you still have a choice. But now, everyone's going to be imprinted with the stuff that happened with this rebellion. So that from now on, any mortals of time and space will not have to live in a rebellion, hellish world that's out of control in modern times. Granted, a beginning evolutionary world will have its primitive stages where there's conflict, but most of that is melted away because you get better guidance and knowledge and divine love because you're not quarantined. This world was quarantined along with a few others. He tells me there's 6 more that need to be cleared, but it's not my task to do that right now. My task is to set up the headquarters, pour the spirit of truth upon the people, spiritual information that God wants them to know so that he can bring them home. He's going to make this an amazing place. All these kind of beings are going to come here through the special gateway that's been made. And I'm pretty sure that people from other universes are going to come here as dignitaries and want to see and talk. And I'm going to be here for, he says, maybe 1 million years or more in this form, which kind of freaks me out a little bit, but I'm all in and have been. So in this process, people will ascend. But this is like going to be like a new heaven spot. So a lot of times, in certain circumstances in a quarantine zone, the souls that have been trapped here and held here still from all the ages, because very few have ascended because of the quarantine. Only a few that God has allowed because of their special service. So once I do what I do, this breaks the quarantine and the rebellion, because headquarters will be established and that will have full control over everything. I have the double mantle set up. I have the Father Fragment and the Planetary Prince mantle. I have all of its knowledge of his evil too, because it came from the most evilest thing that was here. Caligasia. One of Satan's and Lucifer's little pets. He also has another one that's some kind of relative. It's Caligasia and Daligasia. Well, I decimated Caligasia. Daligasia is still loose somewhere, and I have to find it, destroy it. And any witches or any of you other kind of things that are trying to do spiritual stuff to me, it doesn't work. I'm surrounded by witches, and I took all their power from them, and their demon I destroyed. So, I'm your spiritual sovereign of the whole planet. That doesn't mean I own any of you or anything like that. It means I'm here to guide you. That's what God has. He has people guiding him in areas that aren't quarantined. Because once they've gone awry, you don't put specialists in there unless it's someone like me. Someone down and dirty to do the dirty shit. Excuse my language. I'll try to keep that from happening. I think it's on my app anyway. So I don't know where Daligassi is. I haven't had that opportunity to face that one. When I've told people when I was going through California that I was the seventh son, the possessed people would run. Martha said, "Look at that one run from you as soon as you told them." I said, "Yeah, I know. They're afraid of my touch. So I can instantly send them to the abyss." There's a lot of people out there that are what I call minorly possessed. They have like this little dark thing that's just attached to them, marked like it's see them. It doesn't mean that it's like a full on, you're going to twist your head around like an exorcist. Even though weird stuff like that has happened on this world. Trust me, the main characters might be taken out, but there's still a lot of other things that I come across that I just lay my hands on them and it's over. I have crosses in my hand that God gave me when He gave me the fragment and changed my eye color. And suddenly I had the ability to talk to the spirits, I could heal. My senses are extreme. But I am human. I do offer myself to incarnate for the 7th time. But this time it's extra special because this ends all rebellions. You'll all be imprinted. All the future beings or mortals of time and space, they'll all be imprinted to where they won't do this kind of stuff. They'll be much more above it. And thankfully so. It is not Father's way to punish people in a hellish world. But when people and beings make choices, God respects those choices because He wants that for everyone. To always have that choice and never take it away from you. And no one's going to take that choice from you. You will always have free will. And I will always fight and defend that for as long as I'm going to be here. It's just going to be for a long time. Doesn't mean that I am God, because I don't profess to be that. I am a
channel, an instrument, a tool. And because I am of the house of God, I can be utilized this way. I realize it's very risky for me to put my neck out like this. But Father is telling me to do this, and I have to. I am His holy. Every day I give myself, mind, body, and soul for this. For the fact that to save the human race from spiritual default, which means the world is taken out. Because once you have something go so poisonous of evil, it will always spread if you don't squash it all the way out. And I'm not saying when you're bad or you make mistakes or something like that, that's, like you're going to get squashed for it. You yourselves fill your soul with your acts. If you do something negative, you fill yourself with darkness. I expel it all the time from people. But if you fill yourself with the light, you become much more than just what you think you are. I never imagined Father would raise me up to be a paradise bestowed, then watch over His headquarters. Never thought that. But I offered myself up holy in